here's what I was thinking. I had this thought. I've been struggling with this for a couple of months. What if truth or the reality of the world, whatever that means, it actually was nihilistic and detrimental to being human? What if truth was the devil? What if truth was that everything is chaotic? There's
Right.
no objective morality. There's no good or evil.
Yeah.
And I haven't got an answer to this. So I'm just gonna ask from you, like, how would you respond to
Yeah.
that if that was
Yeah.
the
I had
case?
the.
And I'm not saying that's the case, but
Sure.
if
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was the case.
No, I had the same. I was thinking about that specifically, actually, a week or two ago or something. Yeah. What if it is the case that pursuit of truth is actually is bad? The truth is not good in and of itself. It's like
Yeah, it's harmful to us, to
right,
our being.
and you can easily think of examples where that is the case. It's like, well, what you don't know doesn't hurt you. It's like to some degree that's true, right? Like if let's say you worked at a company for 5 years and all your coworkers hated you, but you never knew that, and you were really successful at the job, and then you got a new job where everyone loves you. It's like, did it really matter then? At the time or whatever. It's like this is why I think the pragmatist worldview is so valuable and useful. I've said the only objective truth, the only single objective fact that is indisputable and good, maybe a separate thing, but is indisputable, is that suffering is bad. The experience of suffering is bad. And I don't mean physical pain per se, because obviously, when you're working out, it hurts. I did a minute plank today, and that was like painful as hell. Um, you
That
know,
is totally suffering.
right,
Yeah,
and
existential agony.
yeah, exactly. Yes, hell is just an endless plank. But like, and suffering makes you stronger, right? But like, needless suffering is Peterson's term, and that gets subjective, whatever. But like, this goes back to this. I cut through the rationalization by just appealing to experiences. Like, every person knows that their own personal suffering is something that you don't want to experience, right? You'll experience it in the moment for something greater, but even that implies that the suffering you're experiencing now will pay off in a reduction
Later
of
on.
suffering later, right? So
It's like
even
a promise.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So having your entire world fall apart, your family, your friends, your society, all of that falling apart, to say that that's a good thing. If someone said they believe that, I would take it the same way as if they said, well, if I put my hand on a hot stove for no reason and just put it there, that's a good thing. It's like, I don't believe you. Unless you're a Buddhist monk and you're doing that with the attempt of trying to overcome, some physical limitation or something like that. But again, that goes back to they're doing it for the purpose of reducing suffering in another sense. Yeah, and so that, the concept is like, well, what are you trying to achieve? It's like, well, my ultimate goal is I want to reduce the amount of suffering that I experience in life. And that a pure nihilist can agree with that. Well, life has no meaning, life has no meaning, life has no meaning, it's all pointless. It's like, well, not suffering any more than you have to is a goal that every person, by virtue of the fact that you're a person, wants to pursue. And so in that sense, like, truth can't be ultimately evil if it achieves that goal of moving you away from suffering. And certainly if anyone has ever moved away from suffering by doing anything, like, you understand what that means intuitively, right? But, well, what if logically, we're in a simulation and it's just being run by, an evil god that's just torturing us? It's like, well, again, from a pragmatic perspective, it's like, well, as of this moment in the simulation, there are things I can do to reduce my suffering. And maybe when we all die, we all burn in hell forever and there's no escape. It's like, well, maybe. There's no way to prove that. But whether or not that's true, I'm going to act the same way in reducing my suffering in the current moment, right? So that pragmatism has been, over the last like 2 to 3 years for me, has been, at least my understanding of pragmatism, has been one of the most valuable tools for kind of getting out of those existential pits, I would say.